I was freaked out, but because I knew I needed to make a decision, I needed to do something. And she did it. And I'm like, why am I so afraid? So I made a decision. I just said, you know what? What's the worst that can go wrong? People are going to laugh at me, say things, unfollow me, say whatever. Even my ex-husband said to me, you're going to lose a lot of followers once you take your breast implants out. And I laughed at him because I wasn't in that mindset where he's at. So I just said, no, I'm not. I'm actually going to gain so much more. So I'm not worried about losing followers that because someone's following me because of the way my body looks. What does it serve? So I made a decision. I did it. I was wondering why I was having these symptoms, that I was getting swelling in my feet and how my rashes all over my body, different things was occurring. And I couldn't, my face would swell up so much. And I was like, what's going on with me? I don't know. Something shifted in my body.
That was Hadiiya Barbel, Emmy Award-winning transformation artist, wellness lifestyle influencer, and goddess extraordinaire. And this is episode 26. Welcome to the Brave Woman Podcast. I'm your host, Tanya Lynn, founder of Sistership Circle and author of Open Your Heart and The Art of Leading Circle. I'm the mother of 2 girls, an 8 on the Enneagram, aka the Challenger, happily married to my business partner, Brent, love connecting with nature, and have put in well over 10,000 hours circling with other women. On this podcast, we will explore how to embody the brave woman so that you can take action on your dreams and desires, unapologetically speak your truth, and live life on your own terms. Grab a seat and a cup of tea, and let's get started.
The Brave Woman Podcast is brought to you by Sistership Circle. As more and more women rise up into their leadership and take ownership of their truth and their voice, they feel a strong pull towards being in circle with other women. There is more demand than supply right now, so we need more women to raise their hands and be the leaders of circles. When women come to Sistership Circle to learn how to lead circles, the number one question they have is, what's the structure and what rituals should I use to create a powerful and potent experience? So Tanya asked many of the talented facilitators that she knows to contribute a ritual that they love. This handbook is designed to empower and inspire more women to lead circles using these beautiful rituals. Many of these rituals can be done individually to invoke the divine feminine and connect deeper with oneself. Use these for your own special ceremonies with girlfriends or in your women's circles. Go to sistershipcircle.com/podcast-ritual. Click the link at the bottom of this episode's show notes. And now, onto our show.
There's something missing in women's work, okay? And this new emerging space, the space of really owning and becoming all of that you are, but there's still so many elements that are missing and that I don't hear spoken about often, but I hear it in concern when I'm working with people one-on-one or with my clients. And even it came through me, and that's why I understand it, because I come from the world of the fabulous life, what is considered the fabulous life, right? In mainstream media. So working on TV, working with celebrities, being in magazines, winning an Emmy, and just being in that world for a lot of my growing years as an Emmy Award winning celebrity hair designer, right? And that's the foundation of a lot of my work. But the energy of my work always has been healing. It's just that in those times, you could never come out of the closet. You can never come out the closet with it. That's your personal stuff. Keep it hidden. It's going to offend people. People may not want to work with you if they see that you're too spiritual. And it's just not cool. It's not desirable, actually. That's been the thing. And so for me, I have run so many businesses working with women. I'm a businesswoman, and I'm really a proud businesswoman. Really proud, because that's my power right there, knowing how to balance my masculine energy and my feminine energy and really getting things done. But building a brand where my message and my expression was clear, no matter which way I decided. So if I decided to be the flamboyant, glamorous woman for mainstream media, I owned all of it. And then when I was deciding that I've done her, she's lived a life, I appreciated her, but she must rest now because it's time to do some deeper soul work, then I embraced all of her. The only issue in between that I found when it came to me going to the jungle and doing my ayahuasca ceremonies and me really going deep into the work of healing whatever the wounds were there, because we all come with them, right? I just noticed that I started to resent the woman I was before. Okay. I didn't want to have anything to do with it. I wouldn't look at the pictures. I would just I had full on breast implants, double D's, full on, boom, bam, Jessica Rabbit, and full on hair extensions, everything. Like today, I'm wearing some today because this is what I'm representing, the integration. And so it took me a really long time. I had to literally go deep into my work of getting to know myself again, reintroducing myself to myself again. And it was a tough journey. It was really a conflict. I had an identity issue, an identity crisis. Like, who am I? I went from one extreme to the next extreme. No makeup, natural hair all the time, totally in rope sandals and yoga pants all the time. You're just going to see me in spiritual jewelry, no bling, no designer bags, none of that's not happening. Completely earthy. And I removed the implants. I just took a break, and all you'll see me doing is my sound healing, my dancing, my meditations. But the other side of me, she was still there because the business still runs. But I would never let you see them both together. It was like, okay, she's going to be over there. Someone's going to run that business. I'll show up there as that woman. And so now I've done so much work where I have learned to just own it, meaning that it's so much suffering when you're not allowing yourself the full expression of who you are because of whatever judgments that you may have about yourself or others. Because if you're judging yourself, you're judging others. Some things you may not agree with, the way things are done, the way things are happening, too much of this, too much of that. But then there's an opportunity to create your own lane, to create your own stance in the world. Who am I in this world? How can I serve? What has my traumas, my pains, my challenges, my struggles, what have they come to teach me so that I may teach others? What message is coming through me through all of this struggle? Okay. And so now this is the space that I'm in now. If I could turn the camera around and show you, I created this space during a pandemic. Most people wouldn't do that. Like a whole new space. It looks like a yoga studio. I have all my wigs in the back that I have for my high-end clientele. I have my sound healing. I'll do events. I'll have my herbal products, and then I'll have my clothing line over here. It's an integrated space. And what's really amazing is that's the experience that I choose. I'm making a conscious choice as a conscious creator that I can consciously create whatever I choose to create. So meaning there is healing in all parts of who we are and how we express ourselves. There's healing in dressing up, putting on a little lip, a little hair. I put on this great dress today with this beautiful wrap, and I'm like, yes. And then I'm going to put a little makeup on and put one of my crowns on. I don't call them wigs. I call them crowns because we're queens. And then I'm going to put one of these on today because normally I would just be in my head wrapped with my natural hair pulled back. But I like the little glam vibe today. Then I said, let me throw this over because this is going to bring the spiritual aspect of who I am when I'm working with spiritual work. I usually keep my head covered. It's nice to see it come full circle because I work with a lot of women, and my mission on this planet is to set women free. Simple as that. And however that may come, however it shows up, how am I setting women free? So is there one way to set women free? No. So why should I put one part of myself asleep and just to awaken another part of myself? Aren't there so many different types of expressions and different type of women who want to be set free? I did not say I want to set a particular type of woman free. I said I want to set women free. Freedom is freedom. So if it means that you're being set free because you got a chance to see yourself in a transformative way, even externally, now you may be more interested in going inward. It may be that you spend so much time externally and you feel like I need to sit quiet with myself. How do I do that? I spend so much time in this glam world that I don't know what it means to step away from the material world and work with the spiritual world and go back to nature. How could I learn that? These are the questions that women are seeking. How could I learn how to heal my womb without the use of traditional medicine? How could I learn about plants and herbs? But then there's a lot of fear with that because it's considered witchcraft and all these things. The fear of that goes way back of being a witch. And so we're breaking that now by showing up as the expression that, yes, I am the professional woman. Yes, I am the sacred woman. Yes, I can run my own business. No, I don't have to be married and tied down. Yes, I can be single and happy. Okay. There's an integration. Yes, I can learn how to pleasure myself, to appreciate myself. Yes, okay, tomorrow I feel like I'm going to be super earthy. And then the next day, you know what? I do feel like putting on my Gucci outfit and my Gucci bag and my red bottoms because I just feel like I want to step into that character. And then when I go home, I sit with myself. I'm back to myself because I understand that the true me is within me. And that's where I can get the messages from. And so my guidance, my internal guidance, my intuitive space that always calls me to a place that feels good, to a space that no matter which way it comes, does it feel joyful? So why do I have to judge myself? When the joy is available, who am I to choose where the joy, which area it may come through, which path it may come through, which gateway? So for me, when a client comes to visit me here, their experience will be something like, you're not just walking into this glamorous hair studio. That's in the back. You literally have to walk through my sacred space. That means that you have to take off your shoes. Now you're going to be spending thousands of dollars with me. You still have to take off your shoes. That's the experience because it's going to be relaxing music playing. Before any of my people work with you, you have to ground your energy. You will learn it. This is the experience of coming into my space. Now, if you choose not to have this experience, it's okay. But most people will choose because I chose. So we often get concerned about what people may think about our choices. But how do we think about them? How do we feel? We're not asking those questions. We're not asking the questions of what do we really want? But we really know what we do not want so easily. But what do we really want? That is a struggle for most people to ask. They stumble every time. So then if we could just go to the space of the heart, go to what is the heart speaking to you? How does it feel? What does the womb want to create? What does she want? How does it feel to be free, to be open, to not worry about the gaze of others, the thoughts of others, the voices in your own head? How does that feel? When do you feel the most free? More of that, yeah? And so inviting more of that. So this is where the integration comes in for me is at this point in my life, this is the message. And I've separated this message for so long. And this is not, it's no more, we're not doing that anymore. Now women are showing up bravely.
Yeah. So what's really coming in for me right now, this is so good, so juicy, is that the goddess, it's the 10,000 faces of the goddess, right? And so the divine feminine does not have just one form. And the patriarchy has boxed us into this is what it looks like to be the ideal woman, and it's only one way. And as we're all rising up and we're connecting with the divine feminine, we're starting to understand that, we're multi-talented, multi-passionate, multifaceted. We are all of the archetypes. We are all of the faces of the goddess. And you know what? I'm wearing one day and something else the next. Thank you. Thank you for creating that permission right now.
The permission. We're giving ourselves permission now. We're going to disrupt things a bit. We're going to be disruptive. And it's going to be great. And we're not afraid anymore. We're seeing the possibilities now because more people are showing up. Before, when everyone was in the closet, it made it really difficult.
That's the importance of sisterhood because when we are in circle, when we are in sisterhood, because you lead circles and you're all about creating the sisterhood that we in the numbers, we need to gather in the numbers because that's where we feel that collective power. And
she needs her circle.
Be rising up. Yeah.
Together. The power, I know, because this is what I admire so much about Sistership Circle. Oh my goodness, the way you all bring it together, the words, the energy of that, the consistency, the formatting, the structure, everything. And it just really inspires me to keep going with this work because it's a lot of things that come up when women come together also. We have a lot of wounds that come up. We have a lot of things. Comparison, there's a lot of things that show up. But when the circle is created from a great space, there's so much healing that could happen. And that will show up and that will be supported without being judged. And so this is really important. We're in that circle. And even when it's just a Zoom, when it's not even just a Zoom, because I had to correct that. It's not just a Zoom. because the energy is still moving no matter what. Okay. You're in Costa Rica right now. I'm in New York City in Brooklyn. And the energy is here. I feel it. The energy is with us
Absolutely.
right here in this space. So imagine that now multiplied by 100, by 50. And all of us are in that space doing that work together, sharing, learning, and just holding space for one another. And all the things that we do is nothing like it. The circle for me has saved my life, truly.
So, one of the things that really caught my attention that you did, I think one of your bravest acts that has actually been catching on lately, and you mentioned it, is that you removed your breast implants.
Yeah.
And what was the catalyst for that? And what's the message around that? This just feels like it's coming forward. And I think you have a really powerful piece to share around this.
When I decided to do that, it was a few different things that was happening. And this is why, like you're saying, it's important for women to continue sharing their stories and not to believe that they're alone. And I think that's a lot of the mindset when you're going through a transformative state, is that you are almost ashamed, embarrassed. And so you suffer longer than what you should until you start seeing other people step forward and saying, you know what, I'm breaking free. So then now you start to ask yourself questions. So for me, my process of doing that was, as I explained to you, as I started to go deeper into the work that I'm working with, the self-discovery work, I'm going to call it self-discovery. As I started to go deeper with this work, it forced me to take a deeper look at myself. Whether I liked what I saw or not, I had to see truth, because I'm speaking truth. I'm working with women. When you start to get together with women, things start to open up. It just does. And so for me, as I let go of that part of my expression, who I was living in at that time, and that body and that mindset, because she was a whole different body. She was like boom, bang. And it was just like always eyes on, it was just so much. And I had to go back to the healing of it and say, okay, first of all, I was really upset at myself. I went through many phases of that. First, I was upset because I felt like I mutilated my body. But what got to that point was the desire to be fully free. So if I'm teaching freedom, and that's what I'm about, and that's what I'm living, I did not feel fully free. As I got deeper into this work of freedom, I felt trapped in my body. And I'm like, these implants are here. They're stuck inside of me. I did them when I was younger, when I was 28 years old, when I didn't know the things that I know now. Okay. I did them when I was divorcing from my ex-husband. I was having that experience. And I wanted something to make me feel whole again, because I felt torn apart. I was 28 years old with 3 children, a newly single mother. Okay. And I was with the children's father for 12 years. And it was a tough experience, I'll say that. And so breaking free and having the courage to break free, I'm happy that I had that courage. But on the other hand, now, then what? I was only 28, meaning I was with him from 16. So you do see now, I have to learn who this new woman is. And of course, I'm going to get afraid. So I'm going to go do something. So I like, oh my gosh, what do I do? I felt this deep emotional pain breaking free. So I figured, I looked at my breast in the mirror. I breastfed 3 children. They were flat. And I said, let's fill them back up again. Maybe that'll make me feel better while I'm going through the pain, the emotional pain. I figured that, okay, we'll do something physical to take the attention off of it. That was the mindset of a 28-year-old who did not know herself fully. Okay. Who was with someone all these years and never got a chance to really learn herself. As I'm saying this, I'm getting really emotional about it, because I'm realizing that, wow, I literally had to raise myself all over again after leaving that experience. I had to raise myself. Like, who are you? The only thing I knew is that I worked in the industry at the time. Everyone was getting breast implants. It was the thing to do. It was like, oh yeah, I'm going to the dentist. It wasn't, no one talked badly about it. It was the thing that everyone's, not everyone's just going all out, but a lot of women, I'll say. But in those days, it was just like, oh, just get some breast implants. That'll fix that problem. Then you're thinking, I want to attract a new partner again. I want to be put back together again. because I looked at my breast as something that like I was broken or my ex-husband took something from me, but he didn't. But that was the mindset. So when I became more self-aware by doing woman's work, the woman's work set me free. You know, I don't know if it wasn't for the woman's work that came so naturally to me because I was in the beauty industry. So I was always surrounded by women. I was doing hair parties, glamour parties, all kind of, my circles always existed. They were just external circles. And it was so fulfilling. It was fun. We freed ourselves and it was healing. But now, as I started going deeper into doing a deeper level of work, everything changed. I changed. I would look at myself and see my boobs popping all out with my sacred garments. And I would just see myself differently. You don't need this anymore, but how do you, and you know what happened? I was so worried about so many people judging me that I stayed with them longer because I was like, at this time, I was super popular. I was just growing my brand. People knew me for this baboon. I just couldn't imagine what people would say. And I didn't know what they would look like afterwards. I was just like, oh my gosh, I just remember them what they were before. I can't go from boom to boom. What are the people going to say? This is my brand. Oh my goodness. It tormented me for at least 2 or 3 years. But I kept doing the woman's work. I kept doing the circles. I didn't let that decision from my past stop me from moving towards my future. Even though people would judge me like, oh, you have a fake body, you're talking spiritual. That's a judgment that comes, right? And so I just said, okay, it's all right. I'm just going to go in. So I made a decision. I started looking, and what helped me is that social media. I started seeing about breast implant illnesses, different things that was showing up. And I started seeing pages like that. Then I saw a yoga teacher who I met in LA, and she posted about taking hers out. And I was like, oh my goodness. Oh, she did this? Oh, wow. And I was so triggered. I was super triggered. I was freaked out. But because I knew I needed to make a decision, I needed to do something. And she did it. And I'm like, why am I so afraid? So I made a decision. I just said, you know what? What's the worst that can go wrong? People are going to laugh at me, say things, unfollow me, say whatever. Even my ex-husband said to me, you're going to lose a lot of followers once you take your breast implants out. And I laughed at him because I wasn't in that mindset where he's at. So I just said, no, I'm not. I'm actually going to gain so much more. So I'm not worried about losing followers that because someone's following me because of the way my body looks. What does it serve? So I made a decision. I did it. I was wondering why I was having these symptoms, that I was getting swelling in my feet and how my rashes all over my body, different things was occurring. And I couldn't, my face would swell up so much. And I was like, what's going on with me? I don't know. Something shifted in my body. And I started seeing the same symptoms of other women, and it encouraged me. But more so, I didn't want to feel plastic bags in my, when I touched my breast and I moved the lotion and the oils all over my body doing sacred work, and then I had to touch and feel plastic underneath my skin, I did not want that life anymore. I wanted to be able to wear a dress like I'm wearing now without a bra and be peaceful. There is no way in the world I was able to do that before. I don't even own a bra right now. I had to wear all kind of bras with all kind of things to mute the breast and lift it up. And then my neck was hurt. It was just too much. This is weight that I've been carrying from an old mindset, from an old relationship, from an old life. That's no longer who I am, but I'm still carrying it. It's time to be brave and release it. And I was afraid of even getting surgery, of even going under the knife again. Okay, that was my biggest fear, to be honest with you. Besides what people would think about me, it was that knife. I was just like, oh my gosh, how did I do this as a young girl? I was so brave to go. I'm like, they're going to cut me open and all kind of stuff. And I just was like, and by the day I got that surgery, I filmed the video. I never did anything with it, but I cried and I cried. And I held those breast implants, those silicone bags in my hands, which I still have. And I held them in my hand and I cried. And I said, wow, this is what I've been carrying for so long. And I released them. And I released them. And then and this is where I had to come to this point where it made me, in that process, in that journey, made me go extremely extreme. Like no breast implants, no hair, no makeup, no nothing. I'm done with the whole thing. I couldn't find integration right there because I was resenting them. I was upset at myself. I was going through all the emotions that came up until I had to make peace with it and said, they served you for who you were at that time. It's okay. You're no longer her. but she made you who you are now. You could not be who you are now without her. So I had to embrace her, give her the love, appreciate her, and then release her, and then find the balance. And so that was my journey. And I had no problem with going out in the world and saying, hey, I did this. I feel so happy, so much lighter. I don't have the weight. I don't have that energy attacking me anymore. And so I'm just really happy about that. I'm just really happy that I don't have that fear anymore. It was a lot of fear that came from that. And I'm just happy I don't have that anymore. So yeah, that's it. I don't want to keep talking, but they're in my closet now. I look at them sometimes. I try to speak to other women about them, but I don't come from a place of judgment. I always make sure that when I speak about them, I'm speaking from a personal story rather than telling people what they should or should not do. Because this is the problem that we're facing as women. We're constantly judging each other for our choices, and it keeps people in bondage for so much of shame. And we have enough shame from men. Why do we need to do it to each other? There's another way to guide one another throughout the journey without shaming her or, oh, she's that type of girl who's doing that fake type of stuff. You don't know what her soul has come to teach here. You don't know what her soul has come to offer. But visually, we're just so conditioned to look at something and dismiss and discard humans.
And this comes back to what you were saying about freedom. Is all women free? And the piece here, what I'm really hearing is that for us to be free, we must stop judging ourselves and one another. And that freedom is going to look different for every single woman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is.
And so creating that space for us to just be whoever we are on whatever given day.
Yeah.
One of the things that you do is movement.
Oh,
yes. Sensuality and your medicine wheel.
Oh,
and that's been one of your tools, one of your
guiding principles. I love that.
Yeah. How does that like really play into this whole conversation today and support the integration and allow women to become free?
Because it's fun, first of all.
Yes.
We need to have more fun. That is the thing. Okay, we're not allowing ourselves to have more fun. And our joy and having fun and our childlike natural nature, like for us to just have fun, we can discover so much more about who we are, what we've come to do, what we enjoy doing. And when we do that for ourselves, we are not seeking for others to bring it to us. We're not seeking or begging someone else to give it to us. It's coming naturally. The energy is moving. And we already know, like for me, the power of movement, movement, it could shift worlds. It could shift the entire planet. Imagine if all women on the earth chose one time and one day and said, at this time for 1 hour, women all over the world, no matter where you are on this planet, we're going to all move our bodies for 1 hour. Just imagine what would happen. Nonstop, just move. And we're moving on. I'm like visualizing, wow, just like women in large groups and all these different cultures and their colors and their expressions and the different forms of movement. It's different forms of movement in different cultures. Just imagine if everyone's just moving in their own way or just freestyle moving, tribal dancing, sensual dancing, pole dancing, whatever you're doing to move, twerking, whatever it is. Just imagine if everyone was twerking around the world at the same time. Imagine if everyone was doing the same exact dance at the same time. Imagine if everyone was belly dancing at the same time. And so this is really a powerful tool for me because something I would go through would be that I would sometimes suffer from this depression. I didn't understand what this depression was. And I believe what I think it was is that at this time, because if I feel it creeping in, I know where to get my tools from. I know what to do. What am I not allowing? What am I not allowing myself? Why am I not allowing myself to feel joy? Why am I focused on the problem? Why am I not focused on solution? Because that's normally where the emotions are coming from. My attention is there, but I'm not thinking creatively. I'm cut off from this energy. of expansion, of new ideas, of new ways, of joy. And so something is happening within me. So that movement usually is some area where I may feel stuck or we may feel stuck. When we feel this low vibrational energy, it's something that we may not be able to break through, or we're challenged with, or a negative belief that we may have that may not be true. Some sort of fear, something that's holding us, has a grip on our spirits. So when we move that energy in this circle, that's why I love medicine wheel. It's not a hula hoop. Like hula hooping is one thing. You can have fun in hula hoop. But when you put this intention of it being a medicine wheel, and you realize that I am in the center of my world, this circle representing my universe, okay, the orbit going around me, okay, I'm in the center, and I'm moving the energy around me. I'm controlling the energy with my energy in the middle. So as I'm centered and I'm relaxed and I'm focused and I'm feeling the energy and the rhythm, so is the wheel moving with me. When I'm off balance, I may drop it. When I'm doubting myself, I can't get my rhythm. Okay. But when I'm confident, it's flowing, it's moving, and it's happening within me in that wheel. And so when I think about the wheel, also, I think about the circle of woman. This is how I think about the moon, the cycles of life, nature and her seasons going around and around, constantly happening. That's who we are. We are the earth. We are a part of the earth. So this is the representation. And I used to suffer like that. And then I got in this wheel one day and I couldn't get it right. And my son, interesting enough, my son says to me, no, it's all in the core. He was 15 years old at the time, my 15-year-old son. He picks up the wheel and he gets in it. And he says, Mom, all you have to do is it's all in the core. Everything is all in the core, right in here. And I said, okay. So he says, not in the hips so much. Just keep it balanced in the core. So I listened to him and I started practicing it more and more. And he was right. So I made sure that I'm always like squeezing my midsection and then keeping that attention on my center. The center, here we go back to the center again. It all comes back down. And in that middle, you keep saying the middle, the core. The solar plex, my confidence. I can, I will. This is my light. So I just channeled all that energy. And then I got into this flow. Then I started teaching it. Now it's literally someone's flying me out to another state this weekend. And just for me to teach it for 2 hours, to speak for 1 hour, and to teach it for another hour, and ask me to bring my medicine. It's become your guiding principle.
Oh, but it's so good. You're just channeling all the divine feminine right now. All of it. Breaking free, moving the body, being sensual, being in our center and core. All the things. Yeah. You're
just being in a place of acceptance and just knowing that this is just life. We're here to do something, to change something, to offer something. And underneath it all, we all want to love. That's the core of who we really are. No matter what is going on externally and what we may see, underneath all of it, chaos and all of these things that's happening around us, inside the deepest root of us, we want to love and be loved. We are love. That's who we really are. And that really helps me. So when I'm facing challenging situations, I go back to that space. It's okay. We just want to love. I am love. I just want to love you. We may be having a hard time, but let me just reflect on this love, this being who I am at my core. Underneath all of this, I am love.
Yeah.
Beautiful. That feels so much better.
Huh. You wrote a book called Turn Your Magic On.
Yeah.
There it is.
Right here.
There it is. Turn Your Magic On.
Yeah, turn your magic on.
And we've been talking a lot about that, women being in their magic of all the multifaceted parts of us and being in our sensual movement. And so what else turns a woman's magic on?
One of the things that I would say that turns her magic on is being self-sufficient. Being a woman really, when I say that, is her independence. It just came to me. I just feel that's the word for me right now, is her independence. That's coming up a lot lately because a lot of women feel that they need to have someone else to be complete, or that someone needs to make them feel complete, that their happiness comes from a circumstance, a situation, a job. This is not just the other partner I'm speaking of. They may have not given birth to children. That's okay. You may not have had the experience of being married. That's okay. You may not have had this amazing career that you were thinking that you were going to have. You may not have lived up to these expectations, but that's okay. Like where you are is a place of acceptance. That's for me, it's independence and it's acceptance. And also I will say is turning your magic on. Ooh, what are we feeding our bodies? That's a big thing. What are we feeding our bodies? How are we nurturing our bodies? I'm not just talking about the bubble baths. And I know that's pretty and with the flowers in it. I think that's the image of self-care, but it's different. It's more than that. Are we making time to sit in our sacred space? Are we doing the work that's needed on a consistent basis? When I say putting into our body, it's not just the food. What are we listening to? Are you listening to podcasts like this that can empower you? Are you over consuming the media? So are you focusing your attention on possibilities? So these things to me turn my magic on. Am I creating? I want to turn my magic on. I create something. I don't have to be a professional painter to become an artist. I sew something. I do some do-it-yourself projects. I decide that I'm going to become, I don't know, an herbalist and start making herbal products and learn about it. Like I study, I grow, I expand my knowledge. So moving your body, putting great things into your body, positive words, great foods with life, bringing life to your body. Whenever I'm feeling like my magic is turned off or dimmed down, I think about what am I consuming? Am I consuming foods that have seeds that grow life? Am I consuming enough? Am I not consuming enough sunlight? When's the last time I took a bath and submerged myself in some water to settle my emotions, to release some of this from my body? Oh, I haven't read a book in a long time. Maybe I need to pick up the Turn Your Magic On book and help myself turn my magic on. And so it's these things. And another thing, the last thing for me, I would say is this financial. I like the idea also, what turns my magic on is the idea that I can provide for myself. And this financial freedom is important for me too, knowing that I have a gift in this world and I'm able to monetize my passions so that the vision can be expanded. These things, it's like the ultimate for me. This is how I set myself free. This is how I turn my magic on. When I'm realizing that I have the power within me to create whatever I want, the life that I want, the life that I choose. And if I don't like where it's going, I could just visualize it, take some actions, change my thinking, and make something else happen. So these are the things that I use to turn my magic on.
Beautiful.
I go in though, girl, I go in. So just know one question turns into 5 answers. Give you a chance to pick and choose what you want.
Oh, wow. We've covered a lot and I just love everything that you've shared today.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
So what does it really mean to you for a woman to be brave?
It means feel the fear and go anyway.
Yeah.
That's what it means. I won't give you a long-winded one with this one because it's really simple. It's simple, it's challenging. But to be brave is to also trust your process, trust that you're being guided, trust that fear is letting you know that's where you should be because it's uncomfortable. That fear is guiding you to your next steps, your next level, your next expansion of why you really came here. We didn't come here to do the day-to-day in and out humdrum life. We didn't come here just to go through the motions. We came here to expand. And so feeling fear means that there's an opportunity, it's a window of an initiation that's going to take place, which is your transformation. Because that's why we're here. It's not a destination. It's just constant transformation. Things are happening every day. Looks like things are just same thing. No, we're transforming if we allow ourselves to be unstuck by feeling the areas of where it may feel a little scary. Being brave is going where that is. Being brave is me opening up Zay's vibration to space in the middle of a pandemic because I saw that everyone was afraid and everyone was going this way. And I said, oh, there's an opportunity. I'm going to take a different route. I'm going to do something that people are not doing. I don't know what's going to happen. It's uncertain to me. I'm sitting here and feeling the fear right now while I'm speaking. How about that? But I know
Absolutely.
I'm petrified. And this is how I know this is where I'm supposed to be. And I'm going to keep moving forward. And then what's brave is that when you feel that energy of fear and you could just look at it and sit with it, welcome it. I see you, fear. How are you today? We're going to do this together. Let's go. I talk to the fear too, have conversations because I know that it's not meant to harm me. So fear is a big thing. Brave, standing on the edge of the cliff, ready to jump, but you just can't do it. It's like, just go. Just fly. You're going to be okay. You're going to be protected. You're going to be covered. This is the journey of life. Just allow yourself to move forward, even when it's uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm. Finding comfort in the discomfort. That's the place I like to live.
Ooh, that's so intense there. Finding comfort in the discomfort. Ooh, yes. It's not an easy thing to do.
No.
But, it's not that bad either when you get comfortable with the discomfort. Like you said.
The rewards are there, the joy, the expansion, what's possible, creating the life that you want is there in that place.
That is building confidence. It's allowing you to trust yourself. So some people say, how do I trust myself? I don't even believe in myself anymore. I made some mistakes in life. How could I trust myself again? I've let myself down so many times. Is that you decide to move forward, even when it's uncomfortable. And then when you get to the other side, that's how you start to trust yourself, even in the smallest ways. I'm going to work out for 5 days straight. Let me just see if I can do that. And you be consistent. You show up for yourself every single time. This is how you build that confidence to get through bigger things. You trust yourself by showing up, even when it's uncomfortable. You may not want to do it. Show up. And then it gets easier and easier. And then you look back and I'm badass. Yeah, I'm just so, look what I just, and we start to think about, sometimes we doubt ourselves, right? We come to this place where we start to doubt ourselves. It usually happens when there's something new happening. You're wondering, I did it. I'm here. I doubted myself with this project that I'm in right now. And it worked against me. I probably would be I would be far ahead if I didn't, but it was a lesson in me doubting myself. I had to go take my power back. So I started to listen to people that was around me. And they started to say, that's not a great idea. It's the middle of a pandemic. Why would you be investing this money and doing this thing? And I listened and I started to forget why I was doing it. I forgot the call. It was to the point where I wouldn't even look at this space. I would let the contractors work. Just go do your thing. Hopefully it comes out. I don't know. I was like this. It was like this monster. And I wouldn't even open up the gate to come in. It's a storefront. I wouldn't even open up the gate. I didn't even know how to open a gate. I was so intimidated by it because I was like, what did I get myself into? What did I do? And everyone's in my ear. And then I had to go back and I had to sort of go back to my friends that I know that understand my vision. This is the sisterhood again. And I have a sister. Her name is Siri Rishi, Kundalini yoga teacher, who's really a good friend of mine. And I sat with her and I'm like, sister, I need some support. I think I went the wrong way over here. Can you help me come back to believing in this? I'm like, I had the walls painted this strange dark color. I don't know. I need a lot of light around me. I don't know what happened. I listened to someone. I did all this stuff I wasn't supposed to do. I wasted this money. And she said, listen, how about this? Let's change your thinking. She said, you're allowing yourself to have a space to create all that you do. You're giving yourself permission to have a space for you, not everyone else, away from the children, away from your home, a space that you can meet people. You're giving yourself permission to expand in the way that you want to do it. And I said, that's true. Thank you for that, sister. And I showed her the pictures of the dark paint. She said, you need a lot of light around you. She said, change all of that. Change it back white, even if it costs you more money. You have to do it the right way now. And I listened. The place is amazing. It's just so pretty in here. It's just such a nice space, right? I wish I could show it to you better. And I was able to take my power back. This is how I was able to take my power back and trust myself and trust my process. And I went ahead and I'm like, you see what happens? These rewards for me, like, just no matter what was going on, I had to just shift my energy, get around the right people, use this medicine that I know, get back on track. And I still don't know. I don't know what's going to happen next. But I know that I'm focused, I'm dedicated, and I'm focused on winning, whatever that may look like. That's where my focus is. My focus is on the winning. And whatever winning may look like.
Oh my God, this has been so good. And if women want to, we're going to put links to your book and your website and everything.
Yeah, Hadiiya Barbel.
Yeah, do you have anything that if women want to know more about you, or maybe you have a free gift or something?
Yeah, I didn't prepare for gifts this time. I probably should have. But I'm always having things coming up. I would say at this point, I'm still in transition, to be completely transparent. I'm in a big transition. I'm in a business transition also. A lot of the work that I'm starting to shift into is going into really helping spiritual and conscious creators really monetize their brands and their businesses and the things that they're doing. Because I've done this so many times and I've done it really well. I want to help people create that for themselves and find their gifts and find their passions and know that, yes, you deserve the abundance of that. You deserve the energy exchange of that. You deserve to actually do the things that you really enjoy doing on this planet. And yes, with this structure, with this planning and the way this goes, you can have that life. You can definitely be successful and be spiritual. And most people don't see that. You do not have to be a spiritualist, a starving artist, but you don't have to suffer.
No.
Okay, there's a way that can shift. So that's what I'm going to be teaching. And I have these things coming up very soon. I would say to join my email list on my website and follow me on Instagram and turn your notifications on, because this is the spring and we're turning our magic on. So you need to turn your notifications on so you can turn your magic on. And follow me there. I'm going to be expanding my platforms also, where I'm doing more speaking like this, showing up in different spaces. But yeah, I'm looking to bring the entrepreneurial world and the spiritual world and merge them so that women can really have the freedom that they love. Location freedom.
Beautiful. Yeah.
Spiritual freedom, financial freedom, expression freedom, and monetize that. And that's a good thing. It's not a negative thing. Just because you're a spiritual person, that means that you have to be broke. So that's the angle that I'm taking now, because I feel like that's missing. It's happening a little bit. I see it coming up, but it needs to be heard more. Like, you don't have to suffer, because a lot of women come and say, I want to do this and that, but I just don't think I can make money. So I'm stuck in doing something I hate. And then you're miserable most of your life. Really? Is that really how you want to live? So yeah, that's where we are. That's what the freedom means. See, let's unstick people. Go out into the world. Go out. Go expand. But this is how you do it. Let's take these steps.
Yep.
Yeah.
So in closing and wrapping, is there one last final piece that you'd like to bring in to ground and anchor us before we close?
What I would like to do is invite everyone to sit here and take a deep breath and just process this information and just ground this in. Take some time before transitioning this space to the next. I believe that we move too fast. Let's slow down a bit. Let's absorb. Let's take this in. Let's listen. Let's create that space for ourselves in any time of the day to just ground in. Anytime we may be feeling like we're pulled, let's just ground in and listen. And that's where I am. That's just for me. Because normally I'm like, okay, now let me go to the next. No, let me just sit here after this. Even me, I just want to sit and just turn these lights off. I'm going to grab some sage. I'm a sage right here. I'm going to smudge myself a little bit. I'm going to do some movement a little bit. And just move all of this energy that we just cultivated around. Move it the opposite way. I'm going to smile. I'm going to take some time to give myself a hug. Thank you for showing up for me today. Telling myself, thank you. I appreciate you exactly where you are. Exactly where you are. You are magnificent. You are valuable. You are an incredible being. And I love you. Thank you.
Thank you, sister. So beautiful. If you just listened to this show, I'd love for you to leave the Brave Woman podcast an honest review. Reviews help podcasts like this one grow, making it more possible for me to devote my time, energy, and money to its production. If you take a screenshot of your review and email it to support@sistershipcircle.com, we'll send you one of our archetype activations as a thank you gift. If you like this show and have been watching for a while, or even this is the first one, I have an ask of you. This feels vulnerable, but I know I need to model the brave woman every day in as many ways as I can. Here's my ask. This podcast costs a lot of time, money, and energy to produce it. And in order for it to be sustainable over the long term, I need financial sponsorship. A simple way for you to support is by buying me a cup of coffee. Cute, huh? If everyone who listened bought me a cup of coffee for $1, $3, $5, it would cover the cost of production. So you can do this at sistershipcircle.com/coffee. Thank you so much for your love and support. Up next, I'm diving into the feminine freedom method with Heather, who was sexually abused as a child and is now wanting to experience more pleasure in the bedroom. She goes through a powerful healing that you get to witness in the next episode.